videos. Today, I'll be talking about something I've seen in another YouTube video about a guy creating things that shock other people when they visit his country. I don't remember who it was, but I'm gonna make a video about 20 things that shock people about the Dutch culture when they visit. First, let me do the ritual as always. I hope your day was fine, and write down in the comments if some of these things shock you, if it's the same in your country, or if you never heard about it, but it doesn't shock you. Now, let me place this a bit. Closer like this. Let's start with the first culture shock that people experience. Number one is directness. The Dutch are known for being very blunt and straightforward, which can feel rude to outsiders. If I can come up with an example, it would be, let's say if I have, I don't know, like the ugliest head on, like if I made some food that is disgusting by any standards. If you typically ask the Dutch person, like, do you like this? In all other cultures, they would not want to offend the person, and they would rather eat the disgusting food than tell you straightforward, like, I'm sorry, but I cannot eat this. This is terrible. So, or if you have a hat or a jacket or something that's like really ugly to look at. I mean, I'm not a guy that follows fashion, but some things are literally terrible, and a Dutch person, he will tell you straight to your face. If you ask him about his opinion, he will say it to you, that it's nothing nice to look at. Now, a second Dutch culture shock is biking everywhere. Bicycles dominate the streets, and cyclists have priority over cars and pedestrians. I think that the Netherlands is the country with the most bikes, like typically how people in America have 2 or 3 cars per person or family. In the Netherlands they have 2 or 3 bikes per person per family. I mean, you can Google it, and as far as I know, it's the biggest biking country. I know that I grew up with a bike in the Netherlands, and because the country is so small, usually everything you need, or your workplace or anything, it's commutable with a bike. Like even our even our Prime Minister Mark Rutte at the time went to work with his bike. I mean, imagine Donald Trump going to work with his bike. Crazy. Now, the third culture shock is that it's a cashless society, which I don't particularly like, but many stores in the Netherlands don't accept cash, and credit cards aren't as common as debit cards. So usually in the Netherlands, everyone uses a debit card, and they either pay with their phone or by card. Now, don't get me wrong, a majority of the stores still accept cash, but unfortunately, a lot of don't. Like also when you go to musea or parking spots or big concert halls, most of the time you cannot pay cash. And I don't like that because cash is a legitimate source of money. So to be denied paying with a legitimate source of money is, I don't know, it's not understandable for me, but hey, I don't make the rules, right? Now, the fourth point is that it's an agenda culture. People schedule social events weeks or even months in advance. Spontaneity is rare, like most of the time. You have to plan, even coming over to a friend or a family, days or weeks in advance. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but to be honest, I'm kinda used to it now. I wouldn't like it if all of a sudden someone is at my door without calling or anything, while on the other hand in other countries it's just normal. Like typically Dutch people eat like at 6, so some people won't even open the door for you when they eat, or if you come over and they are eating, they won't invite you in and say, hey, come, take some food and eat with us. A lot of the times they will say, come back after we're done eating, which is, I don't know, pretty crazy, but yeah. Now, another thing is no small talk. Number 5. Dutch people tend to avoid unnecessary pleasantries. They're pretty blunt. That's where I know that I'm at work a bit the same. Like in the morning, if someone asks me something, I tend to forget saying like through Teams, like the application we use to communicate. Instead of starting with hey, good morning, how are you? I strictly only answer the question they ask me, which could be considered a bit rude, but I'm here to work, not for chit chat, right? But overall, asking how are you doesn't really mean how are you, because they always expect you not to talk about how you really are, but just say fine or something. No. Number 6. Split bills. That's where the saying going Dutch comes from. Everyone pays their own way, even on dates or at family gatherings. Now, usually what I do with like friends, when we go out and eat, we just split the bill in 3. Doesn't matter who ate or drank anything. But like a lot of the times, when you go out eating with a group of Dutch guys or girls, everyone pays for their own drinks, everyone pays for their own food, so you always get the bill. And then when you come home, one person pays the total bill, and then when you come home, he sends like through the app everyone's part of the bill. So if I drank 2 colas and ate a pizza, I pay for the pizza and the 2 colas, and so on and so on. You will also almost never see someone saying, the bill is on me or something. That's not typically Dutch. Now, is lunch is simple. A typical lunch is just bread with cheese or a sandwich, and it's never a hot meal. Like when it comes to me, I'm a freaking animal. I can eat fried chicken in the morning, and in the evening I can eat rice in the morning, beans, anything, eggs, whatever. But like when I look at my Dutch colleagues and stuff who I work with, 99.99% of the time it's 2 pieces of bread with something in between, like peanut butter, or most of the time cheese or some sliced meat or something, but it's never a hot meal. Number 8, birthday circle parties. This is typically Dutch, and for me it feels very weird, but hey, like I said, who am I to judge? Guests sit in a circle at birthday parties, drinking coffee and making small talk. So it's like all chairs in a circle, and then you have like a plate with sliced cheese or salami or something, and you get some cake or stuff, and a coffee, and then you just talk in a circle, which is actually pretty social, if you know what I mean. But it reminds me of when you were a child at school, and you sit in a circle, and the teacher says, "Hey, how was your weekend?" Number 9, King's Day Madness. On the 27th of April, the entire country dresses in orange, drinks excessively, and sells second-hand items in street markets, which I really like. When I was younger, so it's always the current king or queen's birthday that you celebrate. So before the king, before the queen, before the King's Day, we had a Queen's Day, and that was always somewhere in June or July. The King's birthday is on 27th of April, so that's where we celebrate it. And here where I live, all the people get like big blankets, and they put stuff on the blankets, like items from in their homes, which they want to sell that don't use. And I think that's the only day that you can like sit on the street and sell items like that without being a company or whatever, or pay taxes for it and stuff like that. And it's really nice because you always see what type of person someone is when looking at his items, and sometimes you find some very nice stuff that you can use for very cheap. Now, number 10 is no curtains. In the last decade or two, I did notice that Dutch people did start buying curtains, but you can see it at the old generation that everything is see-through. Like many Dutch homes have open windows without curtains, reflecting their nothing to hide culture. I don't know, for me it's a bit weird. Like you live on the ground floor, and in a busy street people walk by and everyone just looks inside and sees everything you're doing. I don't know. Number 11, tolerance versus strict rules. The Dutch are liberal on topics like drugs and prostitution, but the Dutch are liberal on topics like the thing that females do for money, or males, but strict rules like bike lane etiquette and stuff like that. So it's some weird stuff. Number 12 are early dinners. Many Dutch families eat dinner at 6 p.m, much earlier than in Southern Europe. Like there it's sometimes like 7, 8, 9. Which is fine by me, but I eat when I'm hungry and don't look at the time. Number 13. Unusual snacks. Raw herring, which I love. Drop, that's salty licorice, which I don't love. And deep fried bitterballen are common treats that the Dutch snack on. Raw herring is pretty nice, but not a lot of people can have the stomach to consume raw fish. Well, it's not really raw, but almost. Number 14. Cold and rainy weather. The unpredictable and often miserable weather can be a shock for newcomers. It's a little bit like England and Ireland, if you're familiar with it. And it's like, it's probably not the case, but you have a feeling like it's raining 90% of the days that you're here, but it's not that bad, but it is often grey and rainy and stuff like that. So if you're from a Caribbean country or something, you wouldn't like it, I guess. Number 15. This one I do not like. Paying for tap water. Some restaurants refuse to serve free tap water and insist you buy bottled water. I know in Croatia, like cafes and restaurants and stuff are. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I'm not. They are not allowed to refuse someone who asks for a glass of water. Even better, in Croatia, when you order coffee, you instantly, for free, get a glass of water with it. Because a glass of tap water, it's a nice extra, but it doesn't cost the owner anything. But hey. Number 16. Limited customer service. Store employees can be blunt, and returning items isn't always as easy as in other countries. As someone who works in a field that's helping people, I tend to be always friendly and helpful, but a lot of the times store owners or employees can be pretty rude and put the blame on the person instead of the item, which I do not like. But the saying in America that the customer is king doesn't fly with the Dutch, because they're so sober. You're a person, I'm a person, you're not above me, I'm not above you. So do not enter the store like you're a king, because you're not. Number 17. Zwarte Piet controversy. The traditional Sinterklaas holiday includes the divisive character Zwarte Piet that led to heating debates because basically Zwarte Piet is what an American would consider blackface. So it's like white people coloring their face black with red lipstick, and basically the knecht, the helpers of Santa Claus or Sinterklaas. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, a lot of people found it controversial, and now you don't have Zwarte Piet anymore, but Roetveeg Piet, which is like basically a little bit black because he goes through the chimney with Santa Claus. So Number 18. Few holidays. The Netherlands has fewer national holidays compared to other European countries. My wife is German, and I know that she in Germany had, I don't know, at least 10 holidays, more 10 national holidays in which the whole country is free, which was pretty nice, but unfortunately for her, she moved to the Netherlands to be with me, so Number 19. Public transport announcements in Dutch. In smaller towns, train and bus announcements may not be in English, which could make navigation tricky for tourists and stuff or someone who doesn't speak Dutch. But when you use Google Maps, or if you talk to the driver or the one that is checking cards, they will answer you in English. Like, that's what I know, like most of the Dutch people or people living in the Netherlands do know how to speak English, even though it's sometimes with a thick accent. But if I would Google it, when it comes to European countries, I think like the Scandinavian countries and the Netherlands are one of the best in speaking English, which is not their native language, of course. And number 20, the last culture shock, is the doe normaal mentality. There's a saying, doe normaal, want doe je al gek genoeg. And basically meaning, act normal, because acting normal is already crazy enough. So the Dutch value acting normal and is proof of showing off, which can feel restrictive to people from more expressive cultures. So, how should I say it? If someone owns a company and let's say the best plumber in the Netherlands, who, for example, would make millions or something, and you have a job for him, it's not expected of him, even though he can afford it and has millions, to come for a job offering in a Ferrari or something. Just have a normal car and like, I know, for example, that Latin people are like expressive people when it comes to love, or I don't know, they're a bit more touchy or stuff like that, and the Dutch people are just like chill, strict, sober people. So yeah. Tell me in the comments down below, what are your countries? Weird things that outsiders consider weird, I would like to know. And maybe I can do a video about your country. If you like the video, leave a like. A comment would be helpful, so that the engagement is bigger and other people can see it, so we can grow the channel. I wish you guys a very nice day, very nice rest of the week, and I'll see you next week again. Thanks for joining in. Bye bye.